Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Slow Flower Show with Deborah Prinzing. I'm delighted today to be here with my friend Sarah Berquist. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Deborah.
Thanks for joining. And just to put a little context on this, Sarah is a floral educator and a faculty member at the Stockbridge School of Agriculture at the UMass Amherst campus, which is the flagship University of Massachusetts campus in Western Massachusetts. Uh, Sarah has been a member of Slow Flowers. She's attended the last two Slow Flowers summits, and we got to talking especially about what she's doing with her students. And I was like, we need a back to school special. So, welcome, Sarah. Thank you for saying yes.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Deborah. It's a true delight to be here and to get to connect and share and explore with you.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So you're in your like campus setting. You are color coordinated with your dress
Yeah.
and your flowers. So I'm really, of course, got to get the style in. But what's behind you?
So this is the seal of our department, the Stockbridge School of Agriculture, which is a historic department because the University of Massachusetts actually just started as an agricultural college
Hmm.
in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And so it used to be called Mass Aggie. So we kind of have this like legacy, we're a small department, especially compared to some of the others at this big school, but we sort of get this seal. And so I thought I would show it off and rep Stockbridge here in one of our buildings.
Yeah, what's the deal with Stockbridge? Is that a region or where did that come from?
Yeah, so Stockbridge is a town in the Berkshires of Massachusetts, but we not to be confused with the Stockbridge School of Agriculture, who the namesake is a former professor, former faculty member in the early 1900s, Levi Stockbridge, and his whole philosophy was learn by doing.
Hmm.
And so, we in Stockbridge have a philosophy that is very much integrating theory and practice. It's a very hands-on and experiential department, and our programs, our bachelor's programs and associate's programs are very hands-on. And so Levi Stockbridge is the namesake of the Stockbridge School of Agriculture, but it's a department just like chemistry and biology are
Right.
departments, but we just have the prestige of being called a school because of our legacy. So
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And so you mentioned associates and bachelors. Like, what programs are you teaching in? And give us a sense of like what does your curriculum look like, and what do your students want when they come to the school?
yeah, well, I can talk about this at length, so please direct me. So the Stockbridge School of Agriculture, we have a few different degree programs. We have both Associate of Science programs and Bachelor of Science programs.
Okay.
And so we have offerings in horticultural science, sustainable food and farming, plant soil science, and turf grass. So, they're loosely related but distinct
Yeah.
majors. And so I've been faculty mostly for the sustainable food and farming program for the last 9 years,
Wow.
and I'm an alumni of of
Okay.
UMass. So I've been here for a really long time. What feels like an eternity, but is about 17 years.
Wow.
So
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
Well, just out of curiosity, when you first started teaching, was there a floral component to the agriculture, or was it really like what most schools is starts with food growing?
Yeah, our strength in Stockbridge is production agriculture. We do that really well, in plant and soil sciences. But I started more in sustainable agriculture and food systems, and
Mhm.
always sort of had a little bit more of a social lean into the food systems side, but have a lot of my background is in production agriculture, mostly diversified vegetable farming, also crop research, working as an assistant in our extension. And so, because UMass is a land grant college, so we have extension programming. So I came from more of a food systems background, and just in the last 2 years have been doing more with Floral and sort of been straddling this sustainable food and farming and horticultural science discipline because it's relevant to both.
Right.
So
You need to teach sustainable farming practices no matter what is
we
being
do.
produced.
We do, yeah. I think they're all, like I said, they're distinct majors, but there's a lot of, our approach is very interdisciplinary. So, if we're studying we're using food as a means to study sustainability, and we're using agricultural systems as a means to study and teach and learn sustainability. So, there's a lot of overlap, and that is really rich for our students too, because they have distinct career goals, but they get to, work with each other and
Yeah.
collaborate across our majors. And
So how did you like slide in the floral curriculum to
yeah,
this established, you know, food growing, operation or kind of philosophy?
yeah. I mean, I just was doing floral work on the side for fun. And I think that, I've listened to your podcast for ages and know a lot of, I'm grateful to have learned a lot of the stories and
Mhm.
seen a lot of pieces of my own story in a lot of the Slow Flowers members that you've interviewed, because I, did flowers for my friend's wedding. And then I was like, I'm going to grow everything. And I didn't even think about the design. I was just like more focused on growing them.
You wanted all the cool flowers.
I wanted the cool flowers.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I realized pretty quickly that, oh, there's a whole world here that I would really love to learn. And so started doing a little bit more just, design. And I say that lightly, like roadside
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah.
then really, over the last 3 years, am fortunate to have a wonderful friend who I freelance for. And so my design skills just like leapt, because it was like weddings and events. And I was immediately putting that into practice when the Stockbridge floral design class began, which was a year ago. And so floral culture was a thing in the late 80s, 90s here in Stockbridge. And so this is sort of a revival of something that used to be here and sort of just went, sometimes when a faculty member retires or funding disappears, we sort of lose things. And so this is a revival, but it looks really different this time around.
Interesting. I believe it. I mean, I think that there are still horticulture programs at universities around the country that have a floristry or floriculture component. The ones I've looked at, and many of them are very conventional
Yeah.
and, kind of flower shop training. And I can imagine you just rocked the whole program with, no, we have a sustainability lens, and we're going to have fun and do design, but there's a philosophy behind this.
Yeah, I think that's what makes us a little unique. I have yet to really find, and I'd love your help finding, I know there's lots of little bits and pieces of initiatives. I know the UC system does some cool stuff with
Yeah.
flowers and
Yeah.
but I
Santa
haven't,
Cruz. Yeah.
yeah, I haven't found any institutions that have and in an existential moment because we're 1 year old. I'm like, what are we? Is it a class? Is it a program? And so it started as a class and grew into a program.
Wow.
And so by that, I mean, it was just one 3-credit class, retail floral design. And that was really, a lot of the courses we create are responses to what kind of competencies we want students to
Hmm.
grow in the
Yeah.
industry. And so for me, I could see both horticulturally and in a sustainable vegetable production context, both were, there's a lot of opportunity for designers and for flower growers. And you can make a lot more and open up a lot more doors if you know what to do with the flowers that you're growing. And so that farmer-florist path really was why we need something, to
Wow.
train our students to be ready to be a part of this industry and have more well-rounded competencies in business and design and production as well. So,
Wow.
it started just as a 3-credit course, and then students, a couple of core students were like, can we keep working with you? And so out of, thin air, we basically made what we called the farmer florist practicum. And so I had 6 students stay on board from the floral design course, and we grew all of the seedlings, did a seedling sale. We had planted a bunch of fall bulbs, so tulips and daffodils. And so we sold at our campus farmers market and just had a little spring thing. And then now that core group, many of them are staying on to help train the incoming floral design students. So
Oh,
it really
wow.
helps grow my capacity so that I don't have to be in every, like we can do a lot more. And so the retail floral design class does real events. So, I'll teach something, but then we have practice hours outside of class. And so we have an event. even in the second week of class, and we need 6 centerpieces and we need 12 bud vases. And so they get the training and the lecture and, some demonstration and hands-on in class, but really the practice hours outside of class, we're doing real events. So
Wow.
um,
It's so cool. Like, who are your clients? Are they other departments on campus
yeah.
or
So,
community?
year one, we worked with lots of different groups. So we had, the leadership on campus would have, meetings and dinners and receptions. And so they hired us and were really, gracious and trusting us and really liked that idea, of having student grown, student designed, sustainable, local, organically grown, student grown flowers. So they were really supportive in getting us off the ground. And then once word got out, we got more inquiries. So, the Center for Research did a reception. We have a program for empowering young women. So we did a reception for them. And then the campus farmers market is actually a real bustling place on our campus. It's like, all student vendors and
Wow.
some other student-led and faculty-supported endeavors. So it feels worth mentioning, we have a really vibrant campus farm, a student farm in Stockbridge, and we have a livestock program as well. And so
Wow.
there's a lot of entrepreneurship already, established. I'm definitely inspired by those programs. And so, the student farm runs a CSA and they sell their produce a la carte to the campus and distribute their CSA. We have a livestock program that also has a CSA. And these are like the force behind it is, of course, faculty, continuity and
People like you, right?
coordinating, right?
Yeah.
But we need the students to be a part of it because we wouldn't be able to do it without them. And their insights really direct the program. I really yield to what their interests are. And so students wanted to do something big. So we did a floral wall at our campus farmers market for taking selfies, for taking photos. We're like, what do people want? And that's
By
also,
the way, you showed me a photo of that.
yeah,
Can we share that in our show notes? That
yeah,
was because your partner helped you build that, right?
yeah, yeah. It
Bring
was
everybody into the
It takes
project.
a village, and that's another thing, I know I'm talking a lot, but that's another thing that feels worth noting is like I I am kind of just running this out of the back of my 2005 Prius, and, um, and like, it looks I made the room look nice, but this is,
Yeah.
like, floral design in public education. It's not like I came in with, like, a $500,000 grant to start this program. I just wanted to see it happen, and so I actually, I grow all the flowers at a local farm, that's a women-led, no-till farm,
Oh,
no-spray
cool.
farm
Wow.
locally that I actually started working at. It was my first farm that I worked at many, many, many years ago. And so I just have a relationship with them and they wanted to see more flowers and they're very pollinator focused and ecosystems focused in their approaches. And so they gave me some space to just try it. And so it's really still an incubation phase. I
Yeah.
hope to come back in 5 years so we can be like, look at where we are. But,
Wait, so it's not on the farm that is the university farm.
no,
It's
right
it's
now,
uh, it's a different location.
yeah, right now we're off site and it just was one of those like, I just want to do this now. And
Yeah.
sometimes, having been here for a long time, it's a big institution. And sometimes to get all the approvals and to get all, like if I wanted to wait till I had a vehicle, until I had money, until I had the right land and the right, it's just like I just wanted to see it happen. So I
I
just,
love it.
sometimes and we're and I hope you'll see this in little glimpses with the students that you'll see them in action in the public education spaces that we inhabit,
I love it.
so we it means like the place where we park, there's no doorknob, they're 1800s buildings, we're like walking around the side, coming in, fluorescent lights, like we draw a lot of inspiration from some of the more polished lime washed walls, beautiful
Right.
florals, and it's like we're still like schlepping stuff out of my car.
You're still super scrappy.
And so, I think we have a vision for
Yeah.
growth and our department is really supportive and, it takes time for those things to really get the resources and infrastructure.
Well, you're demonstrating proof of concept and whoever is the decision maker ultimately you'll have something to show for that.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say I was really inspired, or it struck me when you said that the Stockbridge school is learn by doing. So like you're manifesting that,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
students didn't want to just get flowers from the wholesaler and learn how to put them in a vase. They wanted to do the like seed to bouquet thing, right?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I think that's, the learn by doing it's like, it's the philosophy that I was taught, like I was on the receiving end of that. And
Mhm.
as a hands-on visual learner, there still are lectures and there still are assignments and there's still, academic rigor and training. And we have a lot of really incredible researchers in our department. And we also have a lot of folks who really focus on instruction and hands-on programming. And together we really make up this dynamic
Wow.
department at a research university.
So you're running this farmer florist, what did you call it? A practicum?
Yeah, so the retail floral design course, which is 3 credits in the fall, and then in the spring, if they want to continue on, it's fewer. It's a farmer florist practicum.
Okay. And I know that's not all you do. I mean, you have other classes you're having to teach and students you're advising, right? What else are you doing?
Yeah, it's one of those things, like if this was sometimes I have this feeling that I suspect a lot of people can relate to. It's like, whether it's because you're, being a parent or you just have other things that you're juggling. We live in a very full world these days. So I know I'm not the only one who juggles a lot, but it's not the only thing I'm doing. I'll be in the field and I'm like, oh, there's more flowers and there's not enough daylight. And I just, so I teach other courses. I teach our Introduction to Sustainable Agriculture and Food Systems course. And I also teach a course series in agricultural leadership and community education. So teaching students how to grow confidence and grow their competencies in leading and community organizing, because environmental and sustainability in agricultural education is a whole. So it's a lot, right? Like I get to work with students in lots of different ways, one-on-one to support their academic progress, and then in the classroom, and then in the field.
Wow, that's amazing. I also think it's interesting. I'm drawing parallels in my mind from when I was the kindergarten vegetable farm garden mom. And the fact that like we get the kids all, revved up to plant in the spring and they get all their seedlings going. And then there's summer break. And who keeps these 3 sisters plants alive until the fall harvest festival when all the kids come back to school? It's got to be the same thing with a university calendar year. I mean, are you up against that? Or
I mean, that's a fabulous question, because it really is at the crux of a lot of these initiatives are so great, and the limitations really lie within the incompatibility of the academic calendar and the growing season.
Yeah.
And I do run a school gardens program. Like I collaboratively, support a school gardens program where our students help run the school gardens at the Amherst Public Schools, and
Oh, wow.
that is, definitely something that's been something I've been aware of, is
Yeah.
just that misalignment. And I
Yeah.
think it's something our campus farm is pretty innovative. They employ students full time in the summer and they help run the farm. And my hope is in the coming years, we can hire more students to run the farm and be a part of the farm and the production of the florals that we use over the summer. But this year it was mostly just some volunteers. Our course TA, Allie, joined me in the field, but I'm a 12-month employee, so I worked on that for a bulk of the summer. And it's a little awkward because I'm trying to grow things that are more fall.
Yeah.
Like dahlias, for example. So we, I still have some dahlias who haven't joined the chat yet. Like they're still opening. So it's actually really awesome timing as we're here for the first week of school. I have some blooms that are really just opening, and I'm trying to get better at succession planting and really get that fall succession. But it's hard in the Northeast,
Yeah.
We have a limited time. And that's why we've expanded to do dried florals. And that's something I've loved to do just on the side. And so I like my neighbor saw me. He's like, you're always squirreling away stuff, So I just have buckets.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that like Queen Anne's lace pots. Like I'm foraging a bunch of stuff, and then I grow a lot of celosia, gumfrina, strawflower. We really try to plan to have things available, and to give that there's an industry and a market there. And that's something, at the most recent Slow Flower Summit, that was like a whole a track,
Yeah,
right? So
did you take the class with Heather Henson?
I did mechanics with
Oh,
Hitomi.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's the thing. You can't do it all.
you
But,
can't. Yeah.
I feel like you saw what they were doing and
I did, and I got to connect with other participants over lunch. That's the best part of those summits is like hearing my fellow participants share in their own words, like what they got out of it and seeing their bouquets that they made
yeah,
and
yeah,
getting, there's so much inspiration that happens in those summits that it takes a while to unpack actually, like how much I
yeah.
get out of it. I've never been formally trained or classically trained as a florist. And I say that, and then I'm still using things I've learned in just demos and in just seeing, for example, some of Hitomi's pieces, just like, whoa, we could make art with flowers.
Oh,
So this
yeah.
semester we're doing an art installation with flowers. So, there's
I
ways
love it.
that the Slow Flowers community through the summits and beyond, like through your podcast and just being a member has really supported my growth. Like I don't have, it's just a large, I've always been a person who really thrives if I have a community of practice that's bigger than just what's
Mhm.
at UMass. And so I feel more connected to a bigger community, and that's been hugely inspirational in what we do and how we navigate challenges like the growing season being
Right.
short and making value added products and being creative.
Well, and you mentioned the spring bulbs, so that kinda covers the early part of the school I guess the spring semester,
Yeah.
you're integrating all of that
Yeah.
and thank God, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I still had tulips, like it kind of overlaps well with commencement. So we did a
Mm.
commencement event and we did floral bouquet sales. Like we couldn't keep it on the shelf, like Mother's Day, like weekend. We had, we were like, I had students that were like looking around at like trees that they could clip to get more, it was amazing. Like they're entrepreneurial, they're really into it. And so
Oh, so
it's
affirming.
it is. We can feel the potential when
Yeah,
we do this, and I think that's why. And you can hear in the students' own words. I ask them, why do you do this, and like what draws you to this work? And I think a lot of it is they can feel that potential for their own personal and professional development, and for
yeah,
the field itself, like how much opportunity and possibility and creative people there are in the farmer florist world.
yeah. It goes back to also, like, even just when the school was mainly teaching food systems, like, people have all this knowledge, how are they going to take it out into the real world and support themselves? And that's a part of sustainability too. So it makes sense that you want to teach and show other ways that you can be a farmer
Yeah,
and learning how to have value added with your product as a designer it's key. I know our members talk about it all the time. So,
yeah.
um, I know we're going to talk about the video that you filmed, but can you back up a little bit and give me a little snapshot of your path to flowers? Are you a Massachusetts native, or how did you end up at UMass?
I'm a Pennsylvania native,
Okay.
so I grew up in northeastern Pennsylvania, and went to college at UMass, and
Mhm.
so that's sort of what drew me to the area. I just
Yeah.
loved it. I
Yeah.
was like looking at colleges, and it's just that click, that feeling, and I pretty much have been here ever since. I did my undergraduate and graduate work here. I took some time off in between and actually was backpacking around Patagonia and learning and teaching permaculture in Chile and Argentina. And
Oh,
so,
lovely.
sharpening my Spanish skills and really just learning from a lot of the wisdom that is in that part of the world. Um, and so that was really informative for me in discovering that I really wanted to teach, but more in a community-based approach to teaching.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so a lot of that time, like things I learned in my undergrad because I had great teachers, but then also in my exploration was like how to build community in the classroom and have that be paramount to being able to do some of this work together. Like we're doing events, which requires collaboration, and we don't have a ton of time to become friends.
Right.
So,
Right.
so that was definitely a part of it. And, I've had good mentors. Dr. John Gerber has been a huge mentor of me over the years and support in seeing me from student to colleague as faculty. And there have been lots of other mentors and teachers over the years. And I feel like there's a part of me that I have creative energy, and I never, it's like I never played an instrument. I wasn't really good at painting or drawing, so I felt almost like blocked. And I think there's something with flow, like finding my medium or something.
Yes,
And I think other
totally.
folks can relate to that. Like,
Yes.
and I think that's something in the classes you might hear in some of the student reflections, that um they're studying science. And so I found myself kind of teaching this like art class that we're learning a lot of the foundation of design and also of production and crop science, but it's also this like, what is my style, and
Mhm.
what do I like, and what am I drawn to, and just having space for that inquiry in my own life has been valuable. So I'm trying to hold that space for my students to, not go in day one and say, this is how you spiral and this is how you do it. It's like, what do you like? What do you notice? And lead with that curiosity and that sort of listening to what you're drawn to, I think has really helped me in my own path. So I'm trying to mimic that and hold that kind of space in my classrooms. And I have, of course, TAs that I'm really grateful for. I collaborate with undergrads, and they help slow me down when I'm like, "We need this many buckets and this many things." And they're like, "Wow, this flower's sparkly." And I'm like, "Yeah, we should just look at the flowers longer," you know? So,
It's always great to be around people like that. I
oh,
was doing the flowers for a friend's daughter's wedding, and I recruited another mom in this same she was a mom at that kindergarten vegetable garden with me, but she was a very successful fashion designer for 30 years. And
yeah,
I was like, "Nancy, just throw the stems in the vase." And she's like sitting there studying them, and I'm like, her productivity was really bad. But
yep,
she slowed me down in the same way because she saw them as a an art supply, and
yeah,
not just a commodity. So
yeah,
I love that your students are doing that for you. And yet I think you're very tuned in to the wonder, because otherwise, why would you do it? You've these flowers found you, and you found a way to integrate it into your main profession and
yeah,
change. You're changing lives for so many students and changing the definition of agriculture at your
yeah,
university, which I think is really key. I feel like
yeah,
flowers have always been kind of the little orphan in agriculture.
mhm.
I don't know if that's coming up, or do other professors think you're crazy, or do they?
I mean, I don't think they think I'm crazy, but they're like, some days they'll see me, like, with the back of my Prius open, and I'm just stripping stems in haste. I'm like, "We gotta," like, and I want the students to experience, like, sometimes you have to hustle,
Yeah,
and so how do we know when to hustle and when to slow down? And
yeah,
that's something that's I really feel like it's 2 ways, like, we teach each other that, and
mhm,
that's why I'm able to stay, is because I feel like it is a lot to try to run a business in a big, it's a big bureaucratic like, it's a big
yeah,
institution, so
yeah,
there's inevitably hurdles and challenges, and so I need that steadfast, like, wonder, and
mhm,
that's what the students really help me with, and we ask complex questions, right? Like, I really appreciate the criticality that our students bring. Um, they're studying sustainability, they have questions about social equity, and so we ask questions of, like, do flowers only belong in luxury spaces? And,
mhm.
if I wanna make a livelihood doing this, is it weddings or bust? Or is it, how do we and so I think it is kind of radical in some ways to have these, like, more wild, ethereal, local flowers in dining halls
Yeah,
or in these, fluorescent lit 1800s buildings. Like, there's something, it's almost like the juxtaposition is striking, like,
I
to
love that.
so we ask those questions of, and it's similar
Yeah,
with food, food access, like, who has the right to the higher quality locally grown food? How do we bridge those gaps? And so I don't have an answer to those questions, but I appreciate the students beholding those complicated questions
mhm.
alongside, and I'm here to facilitate, but it's 2 ways.
Yeah, that's really profound. And I think when you come from a community mindset, you are looking at the greater good. And so, where are the flowers going to enrich your community, even if they're, supporting a nonprofit or
Yeah,
going to, a donation rather than requiring it commerce to happen? I'm sure you
right.
have things like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, and, maybe we'll take on big campus clients for events that don't inspire some of our students, but then we can make big pieces of floral art for our campus farmers market and not really worry. We do need to make some money from our floral sales so that we can keep going. We don't have infinite funds, so there is a real component of that. But can we, just like in real life, I think some florists and friends that I have in the floral community take weddings that maybe aren't their favorite.
They're not going to put it on their Instagram account.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're going to draw the kinds of opportunities, so when people see our floral wall, that's what we're most excited to do. Can we do something? Can we make big art pieces on campus and still get the real experience of doing, research dinners and receptions? Because that's important too. And I like that. And students like that. It's just, I think, balancing what kind of clients and projects we want to do.
Well, and I would imagine the subtext to all of this is the sustainability message that, do you know where your flowers come from?
Right.
And why is that important?
Right.
I don't know if you have a chance to educate like the president of the university, but
Yeah.
that president has had your flowers on his or her table.
Right. Right. We do. We have, and the students help, we have a student, Ruby, who designed our logo. And, we have a whole team of students who really help clarify what our message is. And so each year I think we'll get better at that. But I think it's a conversation starter. If you just have a big arrangement with a little dill umbel on top and people are like, is that edible? It's like, what? It's really different. And I think that really draws people in. And then if we have a little sign next to it that's like, these were grown by students, everything here is local, everything here we grew or foraged. And I think that those they're conversation starters. And I think that the food movement has done a lot of that. And so we're following some of those paths that have been worn, and also, bushwhacking our own in how we show up and how we articulate what is most meaningful to us in those spaces that maybe that's not always a part of the conversation, and you can't not see the flowers because they're at your table. So,
Yeah, they're in your face demanding attention. And that's the curiosity element that I love that you're talking about with foraging and pods and whatnot, because I can't help but connect people with nature and kind of becoming more observant and more aware, even if they're never going to grow one of these themselves.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. My mind is spinning with all these, like, what if we did this? What if we did that? Well, we'll follow up on that. Anything else you want to mention before I ask you to tee up what we're going to see in the video?
I just feel a lot of gratitude for all the support that I have had and that I have to make stuff like this happen, and it's it does, like you mentioned, it does take a village. And I think that my mentors, I think my relationship with the farm where we grow our flowers, Astarte Farm, they're really fabulous and generous and welcoming us while we're in this incubation phase. And I think that the students who just show up, I'm so grateful to them, because it's I could get emotional. It's after you have been at the university for a while, it can really wear on you. And so they've revitalized for me this energy that is so special. So I just feel so much gratitude, and also to the Slow Flowers community, because it's I feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself and bigger than UMass. So thank you so much, Deborah, for all you do to, cultivate that community, because it has ripples and has changed my life personally and professionally in providing that inspiration and that creative connection. So thank you.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So you just started your semester. So
week number 1.
Okay. So you said you took your video camera out and interviewed students and shot some B-roll for us. So
yes.
Do you need to say anything to tee that up?
Yeah, I just, I wanted to, my favorite thing for both convenience and function is I can go to the farm after my work day, I go in the evening, but it's also golden hour. So sometimes after class, students either in the floral design class or farmer-florist practicum have come to the farm to help whether it's plant tulips or harvest, or weed, all of it. So we went to the farm during golden hour with the students who've been a part of the program for the last year and are part of the student leadership team this year. And we just talked about the program, and we clipped some flowers that we needed to dry. And then I followed them the next day into the drying room where we were hanging them up. And so you can see the basement room that we use. We just got access to it. We cleaned it up. My TA, Allie, and I cleaned it up and hung up some wire. And she and I both follow the wreath room, and draw inspiration. And we're like, well, this is what the wreath room looks
What
like
Hannah does. Yeah.
in Stockbridge basement.
Yeah.
And so, you can hear and see what the students are up to in their endeavors in trying to extend the season through dried florals. So.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, I have on my desk, I have this wooden box that I lift my monitor of. So the box is covered with stickers that people have given me. I'm looking right at my Stockbridge floral design oval logo sticker that you gave me. And I didn't know a student had designed that. So we'll share that artwork on our show notes.
Yeah, they're a fabulous artist. So that's what it is. Like if you wanted me to design a logo, it would be bad. So we're better as a collective, Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Sarah. This has been so inspiring. People may not be students, but everyone has that back to school itch at this time of year. So I think this will be uplifting and inspiring. And we'll share your social media places for the program so people can reach out if they, want to support you long distance or, come as a guest instructor or whatever. Sure. I think that you're open to all kinds of things.
We welcome collaboration, and students run our Instagram. So that's all student run. So you can follow them there and see from their view what we're up to.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Thank you so much, Sarah. This has been wonderful.
Deborah.
I want to ask about, now that it's been a year, Stockbridge Floral Design is 1 year old. And I had a student ask me today, like, so what is it? And I was like, oh, this is good preparation. She's like, is it a class? It is a club? And so, I don't know, I guess I'm just curious, in your, like, experience and your idea of it, like, what is it? And what do we want it to be is kind of what I'm, be existential, like what's our mission statement, but what is it in your own words?
Yeah, I feel like it totally started out as a class, and I feel like as we've gone on and like we've all like hung on to it, it's like kind of more of like a community now.
Yeah,
it's like
that's a perfect word.
We like, I don't know, we know each other, we work together and stuff. I feel like we kind of understand how each other's like styles work together.
Yeah.
I think this course to me is like a huge hands-on like learning experience for me and for my journey, but also I agree it's been like, it's just a community at this point, and yeah, we're learning so much from it by doing everything hands-on. So
yeah, I feel like it's a sector of Stockbridge where like there's like the student farm and like the soil and lab people and extension, and I think it's a really, it just gets me so excited. I feel like it's so specific, a specific avenue that students can take. I was thinking a lot about how, this might be a different prompt, but how I feel like, well, I was an SFF major, and so I feel like I was worried a lot about, but like how can you make money farming, or like do I really want to own a farm? Like that's a lot, and land access and all of that, and what does it mean to even be a farmer? But I found a lot of hope in the retail floral design stuff because, one, flowers are profitable, and sadly that's something that you kind of have to think about because we do still really have to worry about money at this time in history. And yeah, so it's just so comforting to know that there is like an avenue that SFF majors can explore and that will support them career-wise and financially, and maybe even like soul-wise, to have something so
emotionally.
creative and fulfilling.
It's, yeah. That's, I feel like when I was like choosing my major and choosing what I wanted to do for the rest of my life at 18 years old,
Yeah, exactly.
the main thing I wanted was just to like escape having to like, not like escape capitalism, low key, but like
Yeah.
escape having to do one thing and like go to one place every day. And I feel like farming and agriculture, it just allows you to like do a lot of different things. Like there's vegetables, there's livestock, and the floral component is so interesting because there's obviously like an artistic and a creative component. So I think it's lovely that you get to experience all types of agriculture.
Yeah, I was like originally actually gonna go into like majoring in art or like graphic design or something, but obviously the getting into like, I guess like the market for art is so like difficult, and I thought like, I was like, what can I do that is still a form of art that I can enjoy, but it's like something that I can like add other things onto, you
Yeah.
know, like, I was like,
And also I feel like it's a good way, like you said, add other things onto it. I feel like there's a lot of ways to include other community members in like agriculture business, and that
I did appreciate that about the retail floral design class, learning about the business element. It was so
Yes.
yeah. And knowing that that will be a lot of what you do if you try to start your own floral business. It won't just be in the field and making bouquets. It was comforting and like honestly so exciting to hear about like.
Yeah, I feel like when Emily came in to speak with us, like that I left that class just like filled with passion. Like I was like, this is something I can do, like if I want to, and it's so exciting and cool, and I don't know, like it's nice to know that there's other people out there willing to help me figure it out.
actually we were like just talking about how we liked this like farming in general because it's not really a super competitive thing, because you can't really perfectly grow every single thing you need on a farm, so you're probably going to want like more of a community, and we felt like it was more often that you see people like collaborating or working together
Yeah.
than like, you know, obviously if you're going to business or something, it's a lot of like trying to outdo other people, it feels like.
Yeah.
Or you need to do that in order to be as successful as you can be.
And I feel like everybody in Stockbridge and in the agriculture world just kind of has like a common goal of wanting to help the earth and help our communities. I think floral design is a really special way to do that. It's like a different type of way to help your community and show them something that's beautiful in nature. I think that's awesome.
I keep thinking of the floral wall from the farmers markets and
Yeah.
how much that draws people in.
Yes.
People love looking at something big and grand and beautiful. And that was so refreshing because I feel like the farmers markets at UMass are so special, but it was nice to have something different there that was switched up.
It was really cool that people could like see us actually building it
Yeah.
and like working together.
I think that is really important to know that like that doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
You can't just make that a thing without like so much work.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it also kind of like humanizes it, you know? It's like,
Oh, it's such a
it's like humanizing nature almost. It's like, you know, obviously plants do grow on their own, but look at how much we can do when we're working with them, like together, instead of, you know, just waiting for stuff to grow. Or
I mean, I think of like, what do you get out of doing this in college that is different than, I don't know, like how is it unique, or how does it add to your college experience? Because you could just go work at a floral. You could work at a floral shop, you know. You could work at a farm. What does it do for you to be a part of a community of growers and designers when you're in college?
I mean, obviously you get to see a ton of people's perspectives at once. Sometimes I feel like if you work on a farm where everyone's been working there for so long, it's like they have like a practice and they know what they're doing and they know what works and they're sticking to it because it's easier. But when you go to college and stuff, it's like we're all like, you know, fresh, baby-faced people. We've maybe worked a couple jobs at like a ton of different places, and we all are able to bring that to this and then like experiment.
I agree, Ollie. I feel like it's still, like in college, it's still like we're doing this to educate ourselves and learn new things. We're not doing it for profit, and I think that just allows a lot of like different types. Like you don't have to be under the stress of, oh, I have to get this flower order ready. Like you can just take the time to really like learn through what you're doing. I think that's awesome.
I feel like doing this in college, and especially at UMass and Stockbridge, I feel like after I graduate and I do this on my own, I'll feel more confident that I learned to grow the right way and sustainably by doing it here, rather than working on someone's farm or working in a flower shop. Like I'm actually learning how to do this sustainably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is the number one agriculture program in the United States, so.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody else knew that. That's the only reason I came
I knew it was
here.
good. I didn't know it was number one.
No, yeah, we're number.
Check that.
We're number 3 in the world. Last time I checked. When I first came to college here,
Yeah, that's crazy.
they
We're up
did.
there.
That's what they told me.
We're
so.
up there.
What a beautiful bunch.
I think we got to start picking some more of the other ones. Or,
I know.
yeah, because we've got a ton of these guys.
I know.
You guys look so cool.
I know we're like, oh,
This is the golden hour, right?
and it cooled off a little bit, which is so
Yeah.
nice.
She's perfect.
So what's your favorite dahlia of this lot here, of this
this?
section?
I love the like creamsicle
Like with the white.
vibes of that. Like it's so summery and it just looks like I want to take a bite of it.
Yeah, creamsicle is definitely a winner.
I love these because it like is like almost a full circle.
Yeah, these balls are unreal, right? Any
awesome.
beetles in there?
Nobody's home in mine.
How about you, Sade?
My favorite?
Yeah.
I really like the petals on these. They're kind of like skinnier and like I don't know. I love the different pinks and little orange tints.
It's also so
beautiful.
funny how like dark
me too.
red they are. And then I don't have to run. Yeah, it's probably a bit easier.
But we still can attempt. 3, 2, no, I'm just kidding. No, maybe we count down. 3, 2, 1.
All right.
I promised awkward, didn't I?
What?
Yeah.
One of those is gonna be really good.
And it's fine.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you for hosting.
Yeah.
Hi, Allie.
Hi.
Will you introduce yourself? You could share your name, pronouns, and your major and year at UMass.
My name is Allie, and my pronouns are she, her, and I am a senior at Stockbridge School of Agriculture, and I'm studying sustainable food and farming.
You've been such a huge part of floral design over the year. Will you just share a little bit about what you've been doing with us for the last year?
Yes, so I started as a student in the retail floral design course in the fall when it was just started, and I've been here throughout the whole time. I took the farmer-florist practicum in the spring, and now I am TAing for the course.
You are Stockbridge Floral Design, honestly. So you alongside being immersed in the course have been doing some floral work on the side on your own. Will you just say a little bit about that?
Yes, so I mean, as I've been in college, I kind of have been starting to start my own floral business with all the things that I've been learning in this course. From my experience with markets in this course, I've done my own markets. I've been trying to advertise my own flowers.
What's the name of your business?
Stem and Shell.
I love it. I love it.
Stem and Shell Floral.
What have you been learning about your own design style? Because we've done a lot of events together and done a lot of markets, and you've done a lot on your own. So, and you work at a flower farm. You do so many things. So, what are you learning about your own design style?
Yeah, definitely learned so much. I didn't even have a style before I came here, and I feel like I love the unique flowers. I love the mutant flowers. I love fresh looking flowers. You can definitely tell if they're grown in a field versus shipped over and you buy them in a grocery store. So I love fresh looking flowers. I love pastels. Those are my favorite colors to work with.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited to do more events and to continue to grow the program with you this year. We're going to welcome a new batch of students on Monday. And so thank you so much for everything you've poured in to make this more than a class, because it's really you and all the effort that you put into it. So thanks, Allie.
Welcome. I'm really hoping that it blows up into a sort of like a floral design team.
Yeah.
So
we'll be taking the campus by beautiful storm. Thanks, Allie.
Welcome.
Hi, Bridget.
Hello.
Will you introduce yourself, share your name, pronouns, and academic status?
Sure. My name is Bridget. Some people call me Bridge, and I like the pronouns she and they. And I just graduated from Sustainable Food and Farming at UMass this past May. And yeah, so a recent graduate. It still feels very fresh and exciting. And yeah, I'm left with a lot of gratitude for my major.
Yay. You've been really instrumental in the initiation of Stockbridge Floral Design. And I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about what your role has been just over the last year.
Sure. I was the TA for the retail floral design class. It was the first semester it was ever taught, and it was so special to be a part of it. I think it helped me with my confidence and learning what it feels like to educate others while still learning myself at the same time. And yeah, it's just been really nice to try and in the class, it was really nice to see what areas of floral design the students were really wanting more attention on, and building different activities around that in class, and that was really a big highlight for me. It's just been so special to see fellow students get the spark in their eye for something that I also find really exciting.
Yeah. What have been some of the little bits and pieces or skills that you feel like were tangible from not only the class and your TA leadership role, but just design in general. I'm just curious, what are some of the key little bits that, now that you're a graduated person, what do you feel like was most useful or meaningful to you?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is very simple, but just the muscle memory of how it feels to make arrangements, either bouquets or the installations, and just trying it out first in a very safe, low-key, not stressful environment was really, really important. And I think when I think back to other things in my life, I think when I learn things in those settings, I kind of soar in them more. So I would definitely say the atmosphere in which we're learning was really something I'm learning to bring to other places and facilitate, hopefully. And I think we were able to balance, what does the floral design world look like right now? What are people wanting? And with the lens of needing to focus on local and sustainably grown, the flowers might not look like exactly that, or we won't have that every time of the year. And I feel like we really practiced how to word that to consumers, and that's really so exciting that we have that in our toolkit for going out in the world.
Yeah,
that's a big takeaway for me, for sure.
What did you learn about your own style? Because I can I don't want to pinpoint a style on you, but what did you learn about your own style over the last year?
I learned that it feels so good to just take something and run with it if you like it. I think it is important to be able to replicate something if that's part of your job, but I found so much pleasure in just being able to, the moody colors, these ones, were absolutely my favorite. For some reason, the deep, dark, velvety colors really stuck out to me, and so I had so much fun playing with the purpley reds, but complementing them with limes and greens. I definitely think I liked the darker arrangements, the deep colors. Something about them really alivens me.
Well, you've been such an instrumental part in making this program a program. We sort of made it something more than just a class, and that's so much because of you. So thanks so much, Bridget.
Oh, thank you, Sarah.
Hi, Oliver.
Hi.
Will you introduce yourself, name, pronouns, the year that you're in, major you're in, all that good stuff?
Okay. Hi, I'm Oliver. I'm a junior this year, and I'll be a senior next year. I use he, him pronouns, and I've been in the floral design program for about a year now, and I'm hoping to keep going, hopefully until I graduate and maybe after.
Cool. Tell me a little bit about what you've done over the last year.
So I started out by taking Sarah's class, her first time bringing back the whole program as a whole. And so it was just a sort of introductory floral design class. And I took it because it sounded interesting and it kind of seemed exciting and new for me. And I just fell in love. So when there was a practicum option, we got to grow basically all of our own flowers in the greenhouses, and we did a lot of markets and stuff, and I don't know, there was so much to do. I feel like I've done everything.
Yeah, you've been such a big part of the launch and development of this program and community and its courses, so I'm so thrilled that you've continued to be involved. I'm curious what you're learning about your own style, because a lot of we've done lots of events together over the last year and markets, and so I'm just curious, what have you learned about your own style?
I don't know. Before I came here, I feel like I had no idea at all of what my style was. I'd always only worked with kind of whatever I could find, and it usually wasn't a lot. And getting the chance to really experiment, I feel like I found myself tending to use a lot of warm colors more often, and usually a lot of almost neutrals. And over the summer, I got a chance to take home some of the plants that we had actually grown ourselves, and working with those, I guess I find that my style is sort of all over the place sometimes, but I like a nice full bouquet, definitely. And I like a lot of foliage, definitely. I feel like I always want to have as much foliage and texture going on as possible.
I'm curious how it's been having some of this space to explore your style while being a science major.
It's kind of, I don't know, it's amazing almost, because originally I wanted to go into like art as my major, but I was worried about how much money I would be able to make, and I thought that going into science would be something that I was definitely interested in, but I was worried that I wouldn't be as creative as I was allowed to be. And so being given the choice to get to show off my creativity while still, like, you know, getting into hopefully a slightly more, I guess, a money-oriented profession was really exciting for me to have some sort of outlet while I'm taking, you know, math classes and chemistry and things. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited to keep collaborating with you this year.
I know, I'm excited to hopefully do this for as long as possible, so.
Well, thanks, Ollie.
Thank you.
Hi, Sadie.
Hi.
Who are you? Can you say your name and pronouns and what year you are and your major, just that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm Sadie Prendergast. I'm a junior and I'm a horticultural science major. My pronouns are she, her, and this is my second year helping with the floral design program, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, will you tell me a little bit about your involvement in the program over the last year?
Yeah, so I did the retail floral design class, and then I did the farmer-florist practicum in the spring, and it's just been a really great experience getting to do markets and getting to be in the actual field. And I've helped run the Instagram account, which has been really fun, being able to connect with other UMass clubs on their Instagram, so that's been awesome.
Yeah, you've had some really great roles and have been an instrumental part of making this program happen. And there's so many classes you can take at UMass, and so I wonder just why do you keep choosing to be a part of this? Like, why Stockbridge Floral Design?
Honestly, it's the people here, like the community that we've built in floral design, and Sarah is just incredible, and I keep coming back for the people and the beautiful flowers because they just make me happy, and it's a way to escape other classes that don't involve using beautiful nature. So yeah.
I'm curious what you've learned. You know, we do a lot of design work. We've done a lot of events. We've done installations. What are you learning about your own style, your own preferences?
I've found that I really love like airy bouquets, lots of air elements and like spikes coming out and the sprawling shape. I love how that looks. And for colors, I really like the moody dark colors and like deep purples and deep pinks. I just love that. And yeah, I love amaranth. That's my favorite thing ever because it's the sprawling shape. But
yeah, well, I'm so excited to continue working with you and making Stockbridge Floral Design a program that includes as many people as we can and really builds a community of designers and students. So thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
I don't know how much this stuff sheds.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's like all my solution, the seeds are just like everywhere.
This is the basement of Stockbridge Hall.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our new drawing room for the Stockbridge Floral Design course right here in the basement of Stockbridge Hall.
Hi Ruby, hi Sarah.
Hello.
What are you doing?
Process flowers to hang to dry.
What you got there?
Amaranth.
Do you remember seeding that?
So much of it. There was so much.
What do you got here, Sarah?
I have some marigolds.
Cool. What are we gonna do with all this dried florals?
We're gonna sell them to the campus market and make bouquets with it. Yeah.
Cool.
So here we are hang drying our gomphrena that we just harvested out in the field last night. We're showing you the process of how we process our flowers for our dried floral sales. We make dried flower bouquets and dried flower wreaths, and right when we harvest them, we bring them into this room to process. Once we're done processing and bunching them all, we just hang them up here for about 3 weeks. And we'll come back and check them, and they will be ready for us to make creations. So Sarah and I are taking down our celosia right now. We're going to be using this in some of our upcoming fall markets with dried flowers and some dried events. The good thing about dried flowers is that we have something to do and things to create as the fresh flowers are gone.
Usually around here, our frost is mid-October, sometimes end of October, and our semester doesn't end until beginning of December, and then that way we still have things that we can create with the dried flowers during that period of time. And then also just in general during the winter, there's always been something to create.
So this semester we have lots of hanging amaranthus, and we're gonna be doing even more than just our farmers markets and dried bouquets, but we're going to be working with a dried floral installation where we're gonna make some dried floral art as part of a collaboration with a series for art, sustainability, and activism at UMass. So I'm really excited. We're kind of hoarding a bunch of dried florals to make floral art, and also touch on how this is something that is local. It's locally grown, organically grown, without chemicals, synthetic chemicals. So we're really excited with all that we can inspire with floral art.
Who's this little guy? Every little bit must count, right?
Every bit counts.